Welcome to Speak Up and Stay Alive RadiOh with author, speaker, and your host, Pat Rouleau.
Serving you a generous helping of everything you need to know to help you and your loved ones stay safe during any doctor or hospital visit.
The program is not intended to replace medical advice from a licensed professional, but rather to encourage you to become a well-informed participant in your health and well-being. And now, your host, Pat Rouleau.
Hello, I'm Pat Rouleau. Welcome back to another rich program with breaking healthcare safety news to keep you and your loved ones safe and to keep you out of the healthcare system. And I have a special guest today from Australia to talk about narcissistic relationships. And once you hear her describe this personality disorder, you just may identify some characters in your life and put some pieces in place. I know I did. But before that, I want to give you an update on a topic I touch upon from time to time, and that is the devastating health effects associated with wireless technology. Cell phones, Wi-Fi, cell towers. And lest you think I am a kook, I have some very telling updates for you. So let's get to it. Because right now, it's time for the healthcare hazard of the week. I see Taiwan, I see France, I see someone not taking a chance. Just this month, both France and Taiwan passed laws addressing electromagnetic fields and electromagnetic hypersensitivity. While the new laws do not go nearly far enough, it is the first of its kind in the world. And I want to tell you a little bit about it. Among the provisions in France, the new laws are the following. Anyone who intends to build one or more radio installations regulated by ANFR, that's France's equivalent to the FCC, they must submit to the local government, if requested by the mayor, any calculations of electromagnetic fields that will be generated, and then this information must be made to the public. Oh, and well, we know that's not the case in the United States. Cell phone towers pop up overnight, and thanks to the Telecom Act of 1996, no one can argue against it. Second, the new law is any advertisement for cell phones must mention clearly and legibly the recommended use of any accessory device that reduces exposure of the head to radio frequency radiation. Violators are subject to a fine. Next, their law is advertisement promoting the use of cell phones without such accessories are prohibited, and violators again are subjected to a fine. Then, anyone selling a phone must provide, upon request, an accessory designed for children under 14 years of age that reduces exposure of the head to radio frequency radiation. Oh, again, here in the United States, you can't watch TV for 3 minutes without being bombarded by cell phone ads showing entire families sharing minutes. Can you imagine the day when we actually hear a disclaimer? The use of this phone is known to cause brain cancer when held to the head. The use of this phone is known to cause breast cancer when tucked into a bra. The use of this phone is known to cause fertility problems when worn in a pocket. And on and on and on. And finally, in France, the biggest setback for the wireless industry, they say that Wi-Fi is banned outright for preschoolers. Yep. Wi-Fi is banned outright for preschoolers. In addition, wireless internet is prohibited in places dedicated to the welcome, the rest, and the activities of children under the ages of 3. That would be nurseries and daycare centers. That's huge. They go on to say that the wireless access for internet in elementary school must be disabled when not in use for teaching. So apparently they don't care so much for the elementary kids, but at least it's a start. All of this, in my mind, must give pause and give cause for any rational thinking person to ask this question. With these new restrictions, what do they really know about the dangers of wireless technology? I mean, it's got to be serious for them to even think of making this kind of law. And in Taiwan, the Taiwanese lawmakers passed their new legislation just last week, completely banning parents from allowing their under 2-year-olds to use any electronic devices. Yep, you heard me. Also, Taiwanese under 18 are not allowed to constantly use electronic products for a period of time that is not reasonable, although reasonable length of time has not been defined. The new law means that iPads, smartphones, and televisions are now listed alongside cigarettes and alcohol. In China, online addiction among young people has become a serious problem, with an estimated 24 million children considered web junkies, as well as introducing laws requiring game companies to develop techniques that would limit the gaming time of minors. More than 250 military-style boot camps have been set up across China to tackle under 18 internet addiction. And looking to make crossing the street a little safer, Taiwanese legislators have proposed fining pedestrians who cross the street while distracted by mobile phones. The proposed law will fine any pedestrian deemed distracted about $10 for each infraction. According to the Taiwanese media, there are over 14 million mobile internet users in Taiwan, many of whom are supposedly addicted to their smartphones. The smartphone addiction has supposedly led to various traffic accidents on the island, so much so that 17 legislators have put forth a new law to fine these distracted walkers. Yep. Also, since the release of the first iPad in 2010, an ever-increasing number of parents use the Apple device to babysit their children. A recent poll found that half of British parents routinely allow infants to play with their smartphone or tablet, and 1 in 7 let them spend more than 4 hours a day on handheld devices. Even Prince William recently admitted to letting Prince George play games on his iPad, saying that he believes it's a good way to teach him the inner workings of electronics. Okay. Research published in the British Medical Journal found that a child born today will have spent a full year staring at screens, tablets, computers, TVs, by the time they reach age 7. So there you have it. Countries around the world are recognizing the devastating health hazards associated with wireless technology. And where is the United States in all of this? Oh, you know, we have one of the highest and outdated thresholds for what is considered safe. If you don't heat up and melt, the level is considered safe. I encourage you to take heed, because what we are seeing happen within other countries is a sign of things to come. If France and Taiwan are taking enough notice to enact laws and create fines that buck big telecom, something is up. And how sad is it that we, the people, have to wait for government to wake up and enact a law? Why can't we see for ourselves what is being done to us and speak up and demand a change? These frequencies are dangerous. So today, unplug, disconnect, hardwire, and pay attention. And share this news and today's program with everyone you know. I'll post it on the website, speakupandstayalive.com. I see Taiwan. I see France. I see someone not taking a chance. How about you? You're listening to Speak Up and Stay Alive, Patient Safety Radio. I am Pat Rulo, your hostess and author of the book, Speak Up and Stay Alive, the Patient Advocate Hospital Survival Guide, available at all of our live speaking events or at our website, speakupandstayalive.com. That's where you can also locate radio show times, dates, and station information. That's speakupandstayalive.com. And if you want to purchase the book but do not have internet access, it's okay to call me. Lots of folks order the book by phone, so give me a call, 440-725-5462. You're listening to Speak Up and Stay Alive, Patient Safety Radio, and I am your hostess, Pat Rulo, always bringing you the best of the best when it comes to our guests. And today, I'm right on target. You know, part of staying out of the hospital or out of the healthcare system is to know how to stay out of unhealthy environments, and that includes unhealthy relationships. Now, I know that all of us can relate to a toxic person, you know, that person who just makes us feel less. And a lot of times, if you can't put a name to it, you may just go along thinking that you deserve to be treated poorly, or that the behavior is normal, not really that bad. Or maybe you do realize that things aren't right, but what can you do, or where can you turn? Well, today's guest just might have the answer. She is Melanie Tonia Evans, a narcissistic and sociopathic abuse recovery expert, a healer, author, and radio host. Since 2007, Melanie has developed a healing system called Quanta Freedom Healing and the Narcissistic Abuse Recovery Program, which has created Thriver recoveries for thousands of people from over 50 different countries. She is with us today from Australia, and I'm excited to learn more. So let's get started. Welcome to the show, Melanie.
Thank you, Pat, and thank you for having me on.
Oh, it is our pleasure. Now, in the past, whenever I thought of the word narcissist, my mind went to Narcissus, the flower that looks like a daffodil. And my loyal listening fans know that I am crazy about word origin, so I had to look this up before we spoke today, and I found that perhaps it comes from old Greek mythology, where a beautiful youth fell in love with his own reflection in a spring and was turned into the flower. I don't know if I have that right, so I think we need some help here, Melanie. Help us. What is narcissism?
Look, you're so right, Pat. So many of us really didn't understand the deeper implications of narcissism unless we've been in a narcissistic relationship. So many people just think that it's somebody with an overinflated ego and somebody that's full of themselves or even loves themselves. But it's actually a lot more deeper and sinister than that, sadly, because narcissists actually don't love themselves at all. Narcissists have a lot of inner unattended to wounds that have been covered over by a false self, by an ego that is been trying to source approval and attention and significance from the outside of themselves. And unfortunately what has happened is a pathological malignant self develops because the inner being is really effectively starved off, killed off by the narcissist, and the narcissist becomes a model of a person who will lie, they'll manipulate, and that's their normal operation. And they believe that it's the world against them. They believe that they're highly entitled. They believe that it's okay for them to mine and take. And there's lots of things about narcissists that, unless we've really met a person, unless we know narcissism, it can be a little bit of a shock, because initially this person will be very, very charming and very high functioning and somebody that you feel that you can connect to very, very quickly. They have a very good ability of being able to have you trust them. But there are definite warning signs and there are definite cracks that people can start to see, that you'll understand that this person is not a healthy, developed, mature adult. They have reactions to things that are really very childish and quite volatile, and if you don't really understand what's going on, it's a shock, because this person seems like such a wonderful, great, connected, trustworthy person. And then naturally, of course, the red flags and the cracks become more and more and more.
So it's classed as a specific personality disorder, is that correct?
Yes, it is.
Okay. So now you've mentioned a few ideas that might identify a narcissist, but let's maybe make a bigger list of that. You mentioned that they seem to be likable. They blame others. Are there other things that maybe we could be on the lookout for in our relationships?
Yeah, look, for sure. And I think it's really worth going through this list because, you know, that the standard contemporary societal list really doesn't cover it. Mm-hmm. Pathological lying is definitely a narcissistic trait. One thing that is a huge sign is taking umbrage at slight that healthy, mature adults just don't get upset about. That's a very good indication. Another one is being loving and adoring one moment and then having the ability to be nasty as if you are the enemy, and that will be on a hairline trigger. Intense harbouring about what you did or didn't do in the past, which insulted the narcissist. And narcissists will harbour, and the same issue will continue to re-emerge no matter how many times you actually think that that's been put away and resolved. There's definitely a propensity to lash out and punish horrifically with minimal provocation, and it's behaviour that's delivered that is a complete mismatch for the perceived injury that the narcissist believed that he or she received. It's like an angry 5-year-old, the way they can lash out. Narcissists also commonly use abuse by proxy, which is getting other people or organisations or authorities to attack the victim on the narcissist's behalf. Narcissists have a terminal inability to be accountable for horrendous, malicious, pathological or outrageous behaviour. They might even break down and say they're sorry and cry and promise the world, but it doesn't hold, and with any little bit of testing the water or pushing it to see how real it is, then they'll revert back to the narcissistic behaviour. So narcissists accuse others, especially intimate partners, for all the things that the narcissist thinks, says and does. So there's definitely a high level of entitlement to money, resources, recognition, sex and attention. And often there's excessive and outrageous spending habits. So narcissists can be very, very loose, and they will take risks and gambles, which create a lot of stress for their partner or for their family. And they're very prone to superficiality and materialism. There's a definite need to show off. And I really do know that if people are listening to this, they'll be going, oh my God, tick, tick, tick.
Yes, I'm
tick.
doing that.
Yeah, and there can be absolutely pathological or compulsory adultery, which can be very sneaky, very lied about, very covered up. There's a lot of triangulation tactics that narcissists do. So what they'll really try to do is to remove you, isolate you from people. And then what happens is people are pitted against each other so that people don't find out what's really going on with the narcissist sitting in the middle and controlling it. And really, when narcissists argue, that's probably one of the surest signs that when you're having a conversation with a narcissist, trying to hold them accountable or confronting something or just an argument that they've started with you, you really feel like your head is spinning 360 degrees because there's this incredible list of egoic defenses that the narcissist will use, things like refusing to acknowledge the incident as real or important. They can make up these crazy excuses, stories or reasons for the behaviour that are just not genuine excuses. They're going to blame somebody else for the wrongdoing. They can say a sorry that's not a genuine apology and then demand that you accept that apology. They can claim that you never said that, that was never discussed, or the narcissist never said that. They'll create antics over trivial points in conversations to shift and confuse the focus. Projection is a huge one, blaming you for everything that he or she did. They might just shut down. They may refuse to have the conversation or abandon the scene. They can respond with displeasure to your body language or the tone of your voice in order to steer the conversation away from any wrongdoing. They can state how bad your accusations are, what a terrible person you are. Really, the list goes on and on and on. But that just gives you a few of the real trademark behaviours.
Wow. And that's a lot, actually. And as you're talking about them, I'm also wondering, are there different levels of narcissism, or is a narcissist all the way through?
That is just such a great question, Pat. And look, the truth of the matter is that everyone has the ability to be a little narcissistic. But there really is a massive difference between somebody with narcissistic tendencies or a narcissistic period in their life where they're feeling vulnerable and in pain to somebody who has the personality disorder. And I always really believe, and with dealing with thousands of people that have been abused for years, I really believe that there is a cut-off point, and that cut-off point is when somebody has crossed the line of zero conscience, when they are really capable of pathological lying, malicious behaviour. And absolutely, when they argue in the ways that I described, that's NPD.
Okay. So you obviously experienced this, and I don't want to get too personal with you, but can you share with us briefly why you have chosen to make this your passion and your work?
Yeah, and look, and I'm so happy to speak about it because I really actually have no emotional charge on it whatsoever apart from gratitude for going through this to be able to grow and heal to the level I have. But I was in a narcissistic relationship from 2001 to 2005, and at the time, I had no idea that he was a narcissist. I didn't even know what a narcissist was. And I really thought I was in a surreal nightmare. It was like a bad movie. And things were happening to me that I never believed in a million years that I would be in or I would tolerate. Because I really thought up to that point I was a very intelligent, capable person. And it led me to the most excruciating time of my life because I was really loving someone. This was my first marriage, and I just absolutely believed that he was my soulmate, he was my one and only. And yet, you know, he was the person that was physically, mentally, emotionally, and financially abusing me in ways that were just insane. So I ended up less than 6 stone, and for people that know the other version of measurement, I was 37 kilos. I had a complete psychotic breakdown, and I was minute-to-minute suicidal. I was stalked, I was threatened. Every part of my life was being torn apart. And yet I was still horrifically addicted to him. I'd get away, and then I'd keep going back and back and back, time and time again. And I saw many therapists. I'd actually been doing a lot of therapy and self-development even before I met him. And I even saw a top personality disorder specialist, and I discovered that he had narcissistic personality disorder, and there was absolutely no hope for change. And I was also told that there's only really 3 ways that this is going to end. Either you're going to kill him, he's going to kill you, or you're going to kill yourself. That's what I was told. That's how bad it was.
Wow.
But yeah, it was pretty full on. But yet I could not let go. And I've lost everything. Everything in my life was disintegrated. The pain of living was so unbearable. I was suicidal minute to minute. And nobody could help me. So the inevitable happened in 2005. I had a complete psychotic breakdown. And at the time and it was really quite a bizarre experience. I remember, I was sort of detached and floating outside my body, and I'm thinking, okay, so this is what it means to have a complete psychotic breakdown. I absolutely had one. And then I was rushed off to hospital. I was told that I would need antipsychotics and complete rest and possible institutionalisation, and that I would never be able to. My adrenal system was absolutely shot to pieces. I had complicated traumatic stress disorder through the roof. I was in danger of a stroke or a heart attack. I was told at the time by medical professionals that I would never recover because I'd gone to such a point. The best that could ever happen was that I may be able to manage my symptoms of narcotics. So after that diagnosis, I was given Valium, and I went home, and I was on my bathroom floor, and I absolutely collapsed on the floor, and I surrendered completely to a higher power to help me because I was completely defeated and I had nowhere else to go. And I really knew intuitively, I knew that if I went on the antipsychotic path, that would be the end of me. I knew I'd never come back from that.
Right.
When I did that, at that point, I had the most incredible awakening. And the only way I can describe it, it was like my head parted. And it was like everything I used to think about being a victim was sucked out of me, which was pretty profound because up to that point, my whole focus was, this is him, and I'm an intense victim. And what happened was that was instantly replaced by the truth. And maybe you've got to be completely out of your mind to know the truth. And it happened in that moment. And as an instant download, I just knew this had nothing to do with him and what he was doing. It was to do with what I needed to heal in order to evolve and truly be the person and live the life that I was meant to live. I realised that all my false beliefs and internalized and trapped pain and fear that I'd carried ever since a young child were the exact reasons why I'd drawn him into my life, so that finally all of these unconscious parts could become conscious. So what happened from this profound awakening was really some amazing miracles. And the first was I was able to talk myself out of antipsychotics and being institutionalised. I still don't know to this day how that was possible, but it was meant to happen. And I began an incredible journey of discovering the truth and processes to heal myself. And this created my narcissistic abuse recovery that was a medical and psychological impossibility, completely drug-free. So on this amazing, and absolutely at the start, it was millimetre by millimetre, it was second by second, because I was so shattered. And it all came together when finally, 2 years later, I gave birth to the Quantum Freedom Healing System in 2007, which is a combination of theta brainwave healing, kinesiology, and past life line therapy. And that absolutely changed everything. And little did I know that system wasn't just going to be for me, because to date now, there's been thousands of people from over 50 different countries worldwide that have recovered to levels of thriving, which is my model. This is not just about surviving abuse. This is about thriving to higher levels than you ever lived, even before you were abused. And that's what this system has created.
Whoa, that is quite a story. And as you're speaking, I'm thinking it's very similar to physical abuse, where the person just, they think they're going to leave, but they're drawn back. And yeah, you said the outcome is going to be one of three ways. And so it's very similar to a physical situation, is it not?
Look, it really is.
Yeah.
And the truth is, physical abuse is horrendous. Absolutely it is. But I promise you, it's the emotional scars,
Yep.
it's the emotional abuse
Yep.
that is the real killer.
I can imagine. I can hear that as you're speaking. So what should a person do if they think they're in a relationship after they're hearing what we're talking about today and they're maybe identifying their situation? What would you suggest that they do?
Well, there's a lot in it, really. And I think the first starting point is realising what you're dealing with. But that truly is just the starting point. Because even that knowledge is not enough for us to exercise, and it is like a terrible psychic emotional virus in your body. There's so much more work to do than just to say, okay, this person is highly disordered, there's no hope, and get that clear in our head and get away. That's really only the beginning.
Okay.
What we so need to do is take this to a deep, deep inner journey of our own healing at deep subconscious levels, which is what my work's all about, to up-level our old wounds that made this possible in our life. And that is how not only do we recover and thrive where narcissists just aren't our reality, it also inoculates us against narcissists in the future.
That's interesting. That's interesting. So let's talk about the healing and recovery for the abused person. How can you and your programs help?
Well, first of all, I really think anybody listening, the best thing that you can do is I have a Get Started free package where it gives you 2 free ebooks that are going to explain an enormous amount about what's going on for you. And there's also an email series in there which is called 16 Days to Your New Life. And what that does, it explains all of the intricate main points. It points you to my best articles and radio shows that you really need to know in the initial stages. And also, too, you get an invitation to my 3 keys to thriving after narcissistic abuse. And in that webinar, we go through a lot of material, and you also get to experience quantum freedom healing firsthand. So you'll get a shift in your body that will actually start relieving you from the pain and the trauma that you're going through. So for people listening, the way to do that, to get started, is it's www.Melanie, which is MELANIE, Tonia, TONIA, Evans, EVANS.com/get started. So if you put that in your browser, you'll be able to go straight to being able to sign up for all of those free resources. And that will definitely start getting you on the track of where you need to be getting.
Excellent. So it's MelanieToniaEvans.com/get started. And I'll even put that on our website too, because I'll post this interview and have that information. So if folks can't remember that or don't get to that, they can find it on our website as well. Yes.
Look, I just want people out there. I know that you're going to be feeling like you're going crazy. You're going to feel like a lot of it's your fault because that's what's being projected back at you. You're going to be confused. You're probably going through all sorts of attacks and losses and all sorts of things. And I just really want you to know that and a lot of people think their life is over. At 40, I lost everything, and I created an amazing, abundant, secure life, to financially secure point. I lost everything. And there have been people in my community at 60 and 70 that have lost everything. I just want you to know, no matter how old you are, no matter what you've lost, the trauma you've been through, and no matter how many times your heart's been broken, even if this has been your pattern, I want you to know there's hope. There's more than hope, and you deserve that. And if anything that you're hearing today really, and I know it will, I know with so many people you'll be falling off your chair because this is all the stock standard stuff that is so typically narcissistic. Please look into my resources and please know there is something glorious on the other side of this when you rebirth out of this. I promise you.
Oh, you're a beautiful lady. I'm so glad that we were able to have you on the show today. So, folks, to stay healthy, we must enjoy healthy relationships. And I'm so happy that Melanie agreed to join us to give us some insight on this seldom discussed topic. And you'll be able to hear Melanie as she is now going to be part of our Speak Up Talk Radio network at speakuptalkradio.com. And again, be sure to visit her website, melanietoniaevans.com. Melanie, what a pleasure to have you with us today.
Oh, it's been an absolute pleasure to be here, Pat, and I just hope that I can help as many people in any way that I can.
I'm sure that you'll be able to. So, folks, be sure to get to melanietoniaevans.com. Thank you once again.
Thanks, Pat.
Listen to Pat Rouleau and Speak Up and Stay Alive RadiOh. Stay safe from little-known healthcare and hospital hazards. To learn more, go to speakupandstayalive.com. That's speakupandstayalive.com.
What is the T-zone? The T-zone is the mucous membranes of the eyes, nose, and mouth, the only portals of entry for bacteria that cause respiratory and gastrointestinal diseases. Touching your T-zone with fingers or hands that are contaminated with germs can make you sick. Avoiding the T-zone is the only way to avoid getting a cold, flu, or other respiratory illness. For more information, visit henrythehand.com. Hi, I'm Pat Rouleau, and I have a question for you. Where's the best place to be when you're sick? Oh no, you didn't just say a hospital, did you? Here's something you should know. Hospital-acquired infections are one of the leading causes of death, more than car accidents and breast cancer combined. And these infections are preventable. Still, 1 in 25 patients who goes into the hospital without an infection will get one there. So what can you do to avoid this? Get a copy of my book, Speak Up and Stay Alive, The Hospital Survival Guide, and listen to my radio shows. To find out more and to get a copy of the book that just might save your life or the life of a loved one, go to speakupandstayalive.com. That's speakupandstayalive.com. You're listening to Speak Up and Stay Alive, Patient Safety Radio. I am your hostess, Pat Rouleau, and you can listen to us live online from anywhere in the world at the station's websites. So if you have a friend or a family member who would like to listen to this show, it's easy to send them to speakupandstayalive.com. Well, it's that time again, everyone. It's time to play everyone's favorite game. What is it, Bob?
Shocking news from around the world.
And we have a special guest with us today. He is my co-host of our new radio program called Boil the Frog Slowly. By the way, you can find at the website, the new website, boilthefrogradio.com. He is Sebastian Sanzota. And in honor of his visit today, we are playing Shocking News from Around the World, the EMF Edition. So we're going to get started and introduce everyone. Who do we have as our radio rivals today?
I'm Eric, and I'm a regionally famous radio producer from Northeast Ohio.
Regionally famous is a good thing. Who else do we have?
Okay, I'm Bob from Gatlinburg, Tennessee, and I guess I was a former financial planner at one time.
It's been a long time, huh, Bob?
I forgot about it.
Right. And our favorite guest today, who do we have?
And I'm Sebastian, and the honor is all mine to be here on this fantastic show.
Excellent. So we are ready to play, all introduced up. So as a reminder, here's how it goes. Today, I will read a statement that will contain something that pertains to electromagnetic or radio frequencies, and you have to decide if it's true. We call it a shock.
Wow!
Or is it false? and we call it a crock. Oh. So you guys ready?
Let's go for it.
All right.
All right, we're ready. Here we go. The Speak Up and Stay Alive shocking news number 1. In Austin, Texas, homeless people have been turned into walking Wi-Fi hotspots in a charitable experiment. Is that a shock or is it a crock? Any takers?
Oh, I'll go first. Yes, I'm going to say it's a shock because it's probably true.
Yeah, I'm going to have to go with the shock on that one.
Yeah.
How do they maintain the power for them? Like, is it like walking? I don't know. I'll just say shock to agree with everyone else.
It's a good idea to say shock. If it sounds too weird, it's probably true, people. It is a shock. Wow. And it's called Homeless Hotspots. Conceived by the folks running the South by Southwest Arts and Tech Festival in Austin. 13 volunteers from a homeless shelter were outfitted with these devices worn around their neck, almost like a name tag. Then they hand out business cards and they wear T-shirts bearing their names, such as I'm Clarence, a 4G hotspot. Then the user can log into their 4G network. They have to be within 30 feet of this homeless hotspot in order to get service.
Unbelievable.
Do we have words?
I'm shocked.
Sebastian.
It's just crazy.
Yeah. I mean, using these people as like
Using people as guinea pigs is not very nice. And that's what they are.
I'm still wondering how they're powering these.
Well, they're wearing a little, it looked like a little name tag plastic pouch, and then they had some kind of like a black...
And it's emitting 4G level frequencies at all times.
Right, and so then the people on the street stand next to them, and that's how they pick up the wireless access.
Wow, so they're basically...
They are routers.
Walking routers.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
You talk about a cancer ready to happen.
If you think about it, all 4G phones today are constantly emitting. Let me take that back. All cell phones are constantly emitting, but the 4Gs emit more frequencies than the prior phones. So basically, they're not doing much different than what everybody has right now in their pocket and their purse. So shocking, yes, but what's more shocking is that everybody in the world doesn't realize they are already part of this experiment.
Ooh, good answer. Wow. That was all right. We're going to move on after that, or we might cry.
There's Kleenex behind you.
Hey, thank you. No, those look like disinfecting wipes. All right, guys, the Speak Up and Stay Alive. Shocking news number 2. The first refrigerator has been hacked and has sent malicious emails. Is that a shock or is it a crock?
I'm going to go with shock because if it's technology, odds are it can be hacked.
It was a smart refrigerator, and it was hacked.
Sound knowledgeable about this.
I read about it.
What do you think? Well, now, what do you think, Eric?
I'll just go with everyone else and say shock.
Unless Bob's got strategy and he's bluffing you.
I just watched a very interesting seminar by Devra Davis, and she talked about the ability to hack through wireless. And she actually gave data that proved it only takes X amount of minutes to hack into different wireless devices. It was shocking how quickly someone with the right equipment can hack into a wireless device. Apparently, they are not secure at all.
No, not at all. Wow. A security firm called Proofpoint has uncovered a cyber attack that involved the hacking of smart home appliances connected to the internet. Like that has to be, they've got to be connected to the internet in order to send a malicious email. Well, hackers broke into more than 100,000 gadgets, including TVs, multimedia centers, routers, and at least one refrigerator so far, and used the appliances to send out more than 750 malicious emails between December 23rd and January 6th. The attack also included compromised laptops and tablets, but Proofpoint said about 25% of the emails were sent from appliances beyond the traditional internet-connected gadgets.
Talk about a refrigerator full of spam.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah, that was good.
That's excellent. This cyber attack could be the first proven breach of so-called Internet of Things, an exciting tech trend that promises a Jetson-like future with all of our home appliances and other gadgets connected to one another. But by 2020, the research firm Gartner expects that more than 30 billion Internet-connected devices will be in use worldwide, up exponentially from the 2.5 billion in 2009. Think about that.
Well, wasn't it General Petraeus that said, I can watch you through your dishwasher?
Spying you through your dishwasher.
He sure did.
Absolutely.
Eric is stunned.
Is your refrigerator smart?
No.
Oh, good.
But it's full, isn't it, Eric?
Not really.
Not of spam, is it?
No.
Yay.
No, that's just in the pantry.
Oh, gosh. All right. It's safe.
Hopefully it's not a smart pantry.
It locks and unlocks automatically. Oh, guys, here's the Speak Up and Stay Alive shocking news number 3. A Sylvester, Georgia man was killed while working on his unplugged microwave oven. Is that a shock or is it a crock?
That sounds so weird, it's got to be a shock.
Wow.
I'm going to go with shock because it probably has something to do with retained charge.
That's a possibility. Or it could have fallen on his head by taking it out of the thing. One of the two.
They didn't say how. What do you think, Eric?
I guess if it has some sort of internal CPU that keeps running all the time, there's something to power that. So I'll say shock.
Yeah, you guys are all smart today. Wow. The microwave oven was not plugged in. It was determined that the capacitor can hold as much as 4,000 volts and can remain charged with dangerous residual electrical energy, like you said, Sebastian, for hours, even days after the microwave oven plug is pulled from the wall outlet. And then this apparently provided the current that caused this man's death.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it didn't fall on his head.
No.
But you would think,
It
hey,
caused
it's
him to
unplugged.
fall on his head.
Yeah.
Oh, so at least it wasn't a smart microwave.
Well, if you think about it, microwaves are emitting microwave frequencies, which are what smart technology is all about. So technically speaking, they are smart.
Kind of smart.
Kind of.
Any more comments?
No, get to 4.
Oh, it's getting better, Bob.
No.
Here's a Speak Up and Stay Alive shocking news number 4. Visitors to one historical park in northern Israel are now free to surf the web as long as they sit on their donkeys. Is that a shock or is it a crock?
Eric, you go first.
I'm confused. Now, are these literal donkeys?
Yes, they are literal donkeys. It wasn't a euphemism for...
They literally have to sit on a donkey and use the internet? Is this what you're saying?
I didn't know they had donkeys in Israel.
Oh,
I'm going to say it's a crock.
all right.
Oh, but wasn't that part of the Christmas story?
With the donkeys?
Or no, that's part of Easter. Oh.
Is that
Yeehaw.
is that the North Star shining, or is that the light on top of a cell tower? I don't know.
Wow. So what's the answer, guys? Is it a shock or is it a crock?
I said crock.
Okay, crock.
I'm going to go with crock.
Crock.
I'll just say crock just because I don't know how you would type while on a donkey.
All right, guys. I gotcha. It is a shock. Wow.
Wow.
This is true. Donkeys, Bob, widely mentioned in the Bible as a popular mode of transportation, are being used in a 21st century way at Kfar Kedem Park by carrying Wi-Fi routers around the necks of the donkeys.
Oh,
wow.
Now, the village has 30 donkeys, and they have equipped the first 5 with wireless routers that are attached to the donkey's body. So now the tourists, who, by the way, they want to take this seriously. They're dressing in traditional dress to experience ancient Galilee life through the Old Testament landscape by riding on donkeys. However, they can enjoy and share their experience via
the internet.
Absolutely, online. So these are now animal hotspots, and apparently they've become less controversial than the human homeless hotspots that we talked about before.
Well, this will be interesting to follow, and we'll see how long those donkeys last and how healthy
I'm
they
just wondering
stay.
how many are still alive right now.
Yeah. I immediately flashed to the story about the moose die-off that we're having here in North America, and when you read into that story, you'll see that they're actually feeding RF emitting devices with their food. So they have RF transmitters in their bodies, and I think they even have some collars. And moose are dying off. We've heard similar things with bats dying off, and it's been tied to RF exposure. So we'll see how long these donkeys last.
Absolutely. Even the honeybees, even bees are dying due to the smart meter RF. Yeah.
No doubt about it.
Any donkey comments, Eric?
No, I think I've exhausted them all.
All right, so I'm going to summarize. Today we learned about homeless human hotspots. Say that 4 times. Malicious refrigerators, unplugged microwaves, asinine donkey routers. So I have to ask, on what other patient safety radio show will you find this kind of life-changing information?
What other patient safety radio show is there?
Is there one?
Nope.
No, not that I know of.
All right.
It's a beautiful thing.
All right. And if this topic concerns you, as it should, Visit boilthefrogradio.com. Well, Bob, thank you for being here today.
You're quite welcome.
Eric.
You're welcome.
Sebastian.
Thank you.
It's my pleasure to be with such lovely company with you three men. And folks, don't move an inch.
There's more coming up.
There is. There's so much more you can learn about
You
patient
better.
safety
All right.
on America's favorite radio program, Speak Up and Stay Alive, Radio.
Gotcha.
And that's a wrap, guys.
Thank you, Pat.
You're welcome.
All right.
Thanks, Eric. Thank you.
Yeah. Broke the ice.
Kind of kooky, isn't it?
Yeah.
If you've ever stayed in a hotel and wiped down the TV remote control before using it, you are not alone. An average hotel remote control is 8 times more contaminated than a public toilet seat. So what are hotels doing about this? Hopefully everything they can, but it's not an easy problem to solve. A hygiene company from Texas called Cleanint has a device that cleans your remote for you using ultraviolet waves. The housekeeper puts the remote in the device after they clean the room, and by the time you check in, your remote is free from 99.94% of germs. Whether you suffer from sensitivities or simply take your hygiene seriously when you travel, you might want to call your hotel or motel of choice ahead of time and ask what they do to disinfect your room. If they offer no acceptable answer, suggest to them they look into Cleanint. Just visit cleanint.com. That's CLEANINT.com. Or call 888-715-0464. That's 888-715-0464. You are listening to Speak Up and Stay Alive, Patient Safety Radio, and I am your hostess, Pat Rouleau. Wow, another jam-packed show today, and I am so happy that you are here with me. I encourage you to spend your free time listening to our new internet radio station, SpeakUpTalkRadio.com. That's SpeakUpTalkRadio.com. There you'll find an ever-growing selection of programs, hand-selected by me, just for you. Hand-selected for their quality content and ability to inspire and empower you. Programs such as Animal Talk Naturally, empowering you with unlearning to care for your animals naturally. Hosted by Kim Bloomer and Jeannie Thomason. Boil the Frog Slowly, are politics hazardous to your health? This show goes where mainstream media stops. Co-hosted by Sebastian Sanzota, former U.S. Navy and healthcare professional. Entrepreneur on Fire with John Lee Dumas, founder and host. He interviews today's most inspiring and successful entrepreneurs. Awarded Best of iTunes in 2013. Are you prepared to ignite? We have Health Talk with Dr. Len. Today's hottest health topics from a complementary perspective with Dr. Len Bransowitz. Helping writers become authors with your host, KM Weiland. She provides writers help in summoning inspiration, crafting solid characters, and outlining and structuring novels and polishing prose. Living in the Psychic Realm, live psychic readings by Jethro Smith, an exceptionally accurate reader with a sense of humor. Love Life from Australia to you. What happens when a relationship expert meets a spiritual coach? You learn how to clear your emotional blocks, break through fears, and come into alignment with your true purpose and fast-track your success. Hosted by Jane Donovan and Rebecca Detman. Mrs. Green's World, creating a global community of people who care about our planet. Hosted by Gina Murphy Darling. Realty Universal Radio, a show about real estate, a show about empowering people, giving back, living, laughing, and loving, hosted by President and CEO Natalie Mullenix. We have the Taz and Paula Show, coming your way since 1997 with views not heard in the news. Taz and Paula bring you expansive, engaging, and groundbreaking programming. The Gift of Choice, This inspirational hour provides information and motivation each week to help you live your dream and attain the health, happiness, and abundance you deserve. Hosted by Bonnie Gressel, a family nurse practitioner. The Holistic Health Show, Beat the Odds with host Dr. Carl O'Helvey. Avoid chronic illnesses and prescribe medications and overcome diseases naturally. And we have the Janet Love Show with your host, Janet Love, a certified biofeedback energy wellness specialist who focuses on empowerment, inspiration, and transformation. The Jen Royster Show, an inspirational hour that explores the spiritual approach to life's challenges, as your host, intuitive Jen Royster, takes you on a journey through the metaphysical world. And we have the Vaccine Agenda with vaccine rights attorney Alan Phillips. He shares experienced, authoritative help with vaccine exemptions and waivers throughout the United States. And those weekend golf guys, the voice of the average golfer. Have more fun with golf with their tips and tricks with John Ashton, Tara Bassick, and Jeff Smith, the card-carrying PGA instructor. And Win the Race of Life Radio with international award-winning entrepreneur Nadine Lejoie. And coming soon, we have Truly Amazing Women, Incandescent Entrepreneur Show, Empowered Love Radio, and so much more. So be sure to go to speakuptalkradio.com. Click the Listen Live link, listen to the shows, turn it on while you're at work, while you're eating, while you're sleeping, while you're just hanging out. Excellent quality program that you will enjoy. speakuptalkradio.com. And be sure to do business with those folks. Go to the shop page where you will find all that they have to offer. That's speakuptalkradio.com. Well, that's it for today, but be sure to join me again next week. Same time, same place, but never the same information. And if you don't have a copy of my book, you might want to get one this week, and that'll give you something to do until we meet again. Well, until then, I hope you have a healthy and a happy week. I am Pat Rouleau, and I am your guide to safe and successful healthcare and hospital encounters.
Listen to Pat Rouleau and Speak Up and Stay Alive Radio. Stay safe from little-known healthcare and hospital hazards. To learn more, go to speakupandstayalive.com. That's speakupandstayalive.com.